Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial we'll explore how to use Python Enumerate function. Python Enumerate function is a built-in function that allows to loop over Python iterables while keeping track of indexes of them. Let's take a look at the syntax of Python Enumerate function. Here, iterable can be any iterable Python object like string, tuple, list, dictionary, and others. Start is a parameter to specify the starting index, which is optional. It defaults to 0. As a simple example, we'll create a Python list and then use a for loop with enumerate function to print each element of the list along with the index of each element. Let's start by creating a list. Next, we'll create a for loop with enumerate function and print out each element with the corresponding index of the element. Now let's run the code and see what we get. Perfect. As you can see, each element of the list was printed out with the corresponding index. The enumerate function will also work with Python strings since they are iterable objects. It will work similarly to the example with Python lists. The difference is that in case of strings, we will be iterating over each character in a string and printing it out along with the index or its position in the string. Let's start by creating a string. Next, we will create a for loop with enumerate function to iterate over characters in the string and print out each character with its corresponding index. Now let's run the code and see what we get. Perfect. As you can see, each character of the string was printed out with its corresponding index. Another interesting example is using enumerate function with Python dictionaries. While key value pairs in the dictionary are not ordered and not indexed, using enumerate function can be a very useful option for your code. The main difference in the output is that when iterating over a dictionary, you have the option of iterating over dictionary keys, dictionary values, or dictionary key value pairs. Let's start with an example of iterating over dictionary keys. First, we'll create a dictionary. Next, we'll create a for loop with enumerate function in order to iterate over dictionary keys and print out the dictionary keys with their corresponding index. Now let's run the code and see what we get. Perfect. As we can see, each key has been printed out with the corresponding index. Now we can extend this functionality to iterate over dictionary values and print out dictionary values with corresponding indexes. Here we will simply need to change what we're iterating over from keys to values. Now let's run the code and see what we get. Perfect. As you can see here, we've printed out dictionary values along with their corresponding indexes. To make this even more complicated, we can extend this functionality to iterate over dictionary key value pairs. When iterating over key value pairs combined with enumerate functionality, the output you will get is each index and a tuple containing the key value pair at each entry in the dictionary. Again, we will need to do a few changes to the code that we just used. Now, let's run the code and see what we get. Perfect. We just printed out the key value pairs from the dictionary with their corresponding indexes. A slightly more advanced example is using enumerate function with other Python functions, for example, zip function. The functionality of these two functions combined allows to iterate over multiple lists at the same time while keeping track of indexes of pairs of elements. Let's start by creating two lists. Now we'll create a for loop with both enumerate and zip function to print out elements from multiple lists at the same index. Now let's run the code and see what we get. Perfect. As you can see, we've printed out elements from both lists occurring at the same index. In this tutorial, we explored Python enumerate function. Now that you know the basic functionality, you can practice using it with other iterable data structures for more complex use cases. Feel free to leave comments below if you have any questions. Please like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more of my Python programming tutorials.